March 20th meeting of the Glenville Town Board. Please rise for the invocation and pledge of allegiance. Tonight's an important night here for our board meeting. We'll be swearing in a new officer, and we have a tradition here in Glenville. Every time we swear in a new officer, for the invocation, we read the police officer's prayer. Please join me. Lord, I ask for courage. Courage to face and conquer my own fears. Courage to take me where others will not go. I ask for strength. Strength of body to protect others and strength of spirit to lead others. And I ask for dedication. Dedication to my job, to do it well. Dedication to my community, to keep it safe. Give me, Lord, concern for those who trust me. Compassion for those who need me. And please, Lord, through it all, always be at my side. Amen. Tonight, we have some guests who are going to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. They are from Boy Scout Troop 65. Is that correct? No, this is Boy Scout. Nathan Sozier and Ryan Wignham are going to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. But we need you facing the flag.
I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, gentlemen. So tonight we have a few things on the agenda. We do have the Boy Scout Troop 65 here with us tonight, and they're here to see democracy in action. It's not always pretty and pleasant, but it's important, so welcome. We also have with us Cub Pack 67. Is that correct? 67? And we're going to do, they're here also for a badge tonight, or patch, and we're going to do a little Q&A with the supervisor. So I'm just going to come down there for you. Oh, we need to do the roll call first. See democracy in action. First, we have to get who's here on the record. Please call the roll.
Councilman Pitlavani.
Here.
Councilman Aragosa.
Here.
Councilman Godlewski.
Here.
Councilwoman Rosbowski. Here. Supervisor Ketzler.
Here. So we'll do our Q&A with the Cub Pack, and hopefully these aren't tough questions. Looks like you guys have notes, maybe. But first of all, I'm sorry, your name?
Anthony.
Anthony. Supervisor Ketzler, nice to meet you. What is it? Ben? Supervisor Ketzler. Next, Supervisor Ketzler, nice to meet you. How old are you guys?
10.
Oh, all you tell. What grade are you?
5th.
Okay. Well, I've asked all the questions now, so now I'm going to go first. He does have notes.
What do you like most about your position in the government?
Working with Chief Janet. No, what I like most about my position in the government, I think, is the ability to help residents. A lot of times I get calls in my office and they have a problem or they need to understand something about the town. And I think working with the residents, and I think also working with the town board and the planning board and all our volunteers, moving this town forward with all the development you've seen in the commercial corridors, and just making a better town. You have a follow-up question on that? Follow-up? Yes, sir.
How to get a job?
How did I get the job? Oh, it's a long story. You want to hear it? No. So this position and those positions up there, the board members and the clerk, are all elected. So we have to go out and we have to knock on doors, and we have to get people to sign. This is democracy in action. We have to get people to sign to get you on the ballot, first of all. And then once you're on the ballot, you have to go out and knock on doors and ask people to vote for you. You have to put your ideas out there and talk about your ideas and try to get votes. And whoever gets the most votes gets to be in the job. I've been in the job 10 years, and I've been on the board for 12 years, so I've been through some elections. We used to have black hair. But I love the job, so that's how you have to run for it and get enough votes. Yes, sir.
Would you like to be president one day?
No, probably not. Some days I don't think I want to be supervised. No, I don't. That's your question, that's it? Okay. Anything else? Anyone have a follow-up? You guys have any questions? All right. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Sir, you want us to take a quick picture?
Yeah, can we get a quick picture with everybody, boy, cub, whatever scout you are? Put you on this side. Get tight. Can we get one with the board? Sure. You guys want to come down? And then one with Jamie.
You don't have half as many badges as he's up there.
No, I don't.
Need to find out.
We have an Eagle
All
Scout.
ones in the back.
Ben Colley's an Eagle Scout.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's Ben. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, guys. Good to see you, Ben. Okay, back on the agenda. We have, the next thing up is another great event here tonight. It's the swearing in of Will Want, who's already been, by resolution, appointed to the position of police officer, and this is effective April 1st, 2019, so this is the swearing in of soon-to-be Officer Want. I invite Chief Janik to the podium if you'd like to address the crowd.
First off, just let me take a second to thank the board once again for the passing of the resolution that allowed us to hire Will. As you know, we'll have a vacancy in the police department as of April 1st. Will was interviewed last year along with one of our new officers, Matt Glass. Will did very well in the interview process. We liked him. Unfortunately, we didn't have enough positions to offer more than one spot at that time. So Will went forward with his interview process with SUNY Albany University Police and became a police officer with that agency and has been working with them ever since. Was a graduate of the Zone 5 Police Academy with our officer Matt Glass and did very well in the academy. So it makes me very happy to see that Will was still on our Schenectady County Civil Service list, was re-interviewed and accepted the position after it was offered. Went through a successful background investigation, background check. Got to go through a lot of fun things again. Sorry about that, Will, but we had to go through the same things. But if I could just say a couple words about Will. He is a lifetime resident of the town of Glenville. He is a graduate of SUNY Oneonta with a bachelor's degree in history. Will is a 2011 graduate of Scotia Glenville High School. And as I said, he's a 2019 graduate of the Zone 5 and Law Enforcement Academy. Will has brought with him this evening his mother Brooke, his father Bill, his sister Elizabeth, and his girlfriend Elena. So welcome everybody and thank you for coming. I appreciate your attendance here tonight. If I could call Will up here so we can go through the ceremony.
So when you go to the swearing in ceremony, who would you like to hold the Bible? Would you like to hold the Bible? Sure. So you just hold the Bible there. I, William C. Clark,
I, William C. Quan,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
and the laws of the United States
and the laws of the United States
and the Constitution
and the Constitution
and the laws of the state of New York,
and the laws of the state of New York,
and I will faithfully discharge the duties
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
of police officer with the police department in the town of Glenville,
of police officer of the police department in the town of Glenville,
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations and
Thank
welcome.
you, sir.
So Will, would you like to say anything to the guest assembly here today?
Sure. Just like to thank Chief Janik and the town board. It's a very exciting opportunity for me. I just want to thank you all for being here tonight, and I look forward to starting April 1st.
So we need you to sign this book. Go slowly because we want to get a good shot. Everybody always rushes through and try to get a shot at it. So you just need to sign what's inside. Right there. In position. Oh, yeah. Point back, point back.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
He's got one more thing to mention, if you don't mind, Mr. Supervisor. As most of you know, the hiring of Will is a direct result of an announced retirement of one of our officers in the Glenville Police Department. So therefore, I would like to take this opportunity publicly to recognize the retirement of Tracy Nethaway. Tracy's last day with our department will be next Wednesday, March 27th. Tracy's retiring after 20 years of service with the Glenville Police Department. I, along with the entire department, want to congratulate Tracy on her retirement. We hope she enjoys health, happiness, and satisfaction on her future endeavors. I'm sure the jokes and stories will be abundant at her retirement party on March 30th. Tracy, do you mind stepping up here real quick?
Tracy, on behalf of the town board, we'd like to present you the proclamation. And I'd like to just take a minute to read it, if you don't mind. It says, whereas Officer Tracy Nethaway joined the Glenville Police Department in April 1999, after beginning her career as a correctional officer in 1994, later becoming a deputy sheriff in 1996 with the Montgomery County Sheriff's Department. And whereas Officer Tracy Nethaway will always be recognized as the Glenville Police Department's first female police officer. Congratulations. And whereas throughout her tenure with the Glenville Police Department, Officer Tracy Nethaway served the people of this town with honor and distinction. And whereas Officer Tracy Nethaway was instrumental in maintaining a positive connection with the senior community of the town of Glenville, her devotion to the senior community led her to become a certified instructor of women's self-defense, a liaison between the Glenville Senior Center and the police department, and a qualified lecturer in senior safety, security, identity theft, and instructions on how to avoid becoming a victim of a scam. And whereas Officer Tracy Nethaway is recognized as a determined officer in her pursuit of larceny suspects, domestic incident suspects, and crimes against children, and whereas Officer Tracy Nethaway will always be remembered for her positive opinion of her peers and the citizens she served, as well as her sense of humor. Now therefore, by the power vested in me to supervise our town of Glenville, and on behalf of the town board, I do hereby confer upon Officer Tracy Nethaway our highest commendation for the manner in which she performed her duties as a member of the Glenville Police Department, with special thanks for her dedication to service and love of her community. Signed, Christopher A. Kessler. Congratulations and thank you. Yeah, it's funny.
Thank you. Thanks so much.
Who in this room hasn't had a picture taken yet? Okay, so we'll get back to the agenda, and we'll move to town council reports, and I'll start on my left with Councilman Eastman.
Mr. Supervisor, I'm sorry if you don't mind, we're going to reconvene.
Okay,
Thank you
yes.
very much.
Now's a good time to leave.
Thank you.
Councilman Eastman. Will? We'll go back on the agenda and we'll have town council reports starting with Councilman Lucy.
Mr. Supervisor, just two things to report. First, I'd like to welcome two guests to our board meeting tonight. From the Village of Scotia Board of Trustees, we have Trustee George Solotruck and Trustee Heather Gray with us this evening. I understand Trustee Gray is the appointed, Mayor Gifford appointed liaison, intergovernmental liaison, is it? Between the town and the village, so we're happy to have them with us here tonight. Also, just one other thing to report, I attended, I think it was a little over a week ago, the Scotia Relief fundraiser at the Wolf Hollow Brewery. Supervisor Ketzey was there, Trustee Solotruck was there. It was a great time. A number of others were there. Vicki Hillis, Jacob McFarland. It was a great time for a great cause, and everybody enjoyed themselves, and we raised a good amount of money for the Scotia Relief, which is a great organization. That's all I have to report.
Thank you. Councilwoman Rosbowski.
Just a few events that are upcoming this weekend, Mr. Supervisor. This is yet another weekend of the New York Maple Weekend, and our very own Riverside Maple Farms has events scheduled throughout the weekend. Alpha's Fire Department is having breakfast Saturday morning. Usually their food's pretty stellar. And Scotia Glenville High School is having their drama club presentation of Mamma Mia Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. That's it.
I love Mamma Mia. Councilman Delavante.
I have no report this week.
Councilman Aragosa.
A couple things. First of all, the new chairs are very nice. It's a long time coming from my goal. Second, highway department, they've got crews out doing potholes. They're still collecting leaves throughout where they didn't get them in the fall. If you haven't gotten yours picked up yet, they're working on it. Thirdly, the supervisor posted the information on this year's cleanup on the Facebook, on his Facebook. It's also posted on the website. I know there's flyers around. If we available, I'd like to give a couple flyers. I got some places I can post them. Just a small correction on the Mamma Mia. It is Friday at 7, and Saturday there's two shows, 2 and 7. There is no Sunday show this year. My daughter Jen is in the show, so hopefully you'll all come out and see her. This is her last show, so we're excited for her.
Mike, it's at 7 o'clock. I thought the
2 and 7.
Facebook said 7:30.
Yeah. I think the gate open. I mean, the doors open at 7. So the last thing I heard a little bit back on the community choice aggregation, and I'm hoping we can get some more communication about that at our next work session.
Yeah, the county attorney hasn't returned the call yet, but we can try again.
Okay, very good. That's it for me.
Thank you. We'll now move to item number 7, which is privilege of the floor. Typically, we have a sign up for that. Thank you. If you're not signed up for privilege of the floor, you can raise your hand and we will invite you to the podium to address the board on any matter. We do have 2 folks signed up, so we'll start with those 2 folks, and then if you want to speak at privilege of the floor after that, just raise your hand and we'll invite you to the podium, as I said. So, with that, Mountain Ridge Adventure, Mike Cellini, I assume, would be speaking? Or both? Okay.
Yeah, well, first off, we'd like to thank Jamie McFarland for giving us the idea to present tonight. A little state of the business address to the town board. We're entering our 4th season, and I also want to thank him for inviting us to Oktoberfest. It was a great turnout. So the first thing we want to talk about is our employees. We hire about 30 employees a year, and almost all of them are local. So we're very proud of that. We want to talk about the businesses that have come to Mountain Ridge Adventure. We do corporate groups, we do school groups, we do Boy Scouts. We've had GE, Albany Medical Center, a lot of New York State government departments, U.S. Navy, Waterville Arsenal, Saratoga Veterans, SI Group, Corning. I can go on and on. So they've come out from as far away as New York City. Some of these groups have come to Mountain Ridge Adventure here in Wendell. We have close to, so far, 750 reviews on Google, Yelp, TripAdvisor, with a 4.9 out of 5 rating. We're very proud of that. We are a Yelp and a TripAdvisor star-rated company, which is pretty hard to get. As you can see, people have reviews, and one review brings you down drastically. So to have a 4.9 out of 5, we're very proud of that. Let's see. Some of the reviews that we have are incredible in the sense of we have heard people say to us, this is the best thing I've ever done in my life. Or I've been ziplining and I've been to adventure parks all over the world, and Mountain Ridge Adventure is the best place I've ever been to. So when you hear statements like that, we are very proud of what we've created. Again, I want to thank the board for allowing us here. I'm going to pass it off to Olivia.
All right. Again, I want to just thank you too for allowing us to speak. We, as Michael has said, we are very, very proud of our park. And I just wanted to first talk about just our park in general, about how the gear that we have in our park, we consider the best gear in the industry. And the thing that I like to say about that is that we have a lot of groups that come in that was kind of a surprise to us, because we didn't think that we would get a whole array of different types of people. And so the benefits of having really good gear that allows people to go up into trees and play, is that you're not afraid of falling, because it's a click-in system where you're locked in. So we have had a lot of different types of groups, with some with special needs. We've had a group from the the Blind Society. They've come out 2 years in a row. So these are kids, some of them are fully without sight, some very little sight, and they've been able to go up into the trees and go ziplining and go play. That was one of our most special groups that have come in. We've had kids with autism, Down syndrome, and of course a whole range of different types of people. But that is just kind of a special part of my part, just training my staff and being with them as they're working with these kids. So that was one of the things that I just wanted to kind of share. And also just going back to our staff, we hire a lot of local kids. And I shouldn't use the word kids, it makes me feel old. But the thing that I really love is seeing that some of our staff, they go on to college, and a lot of them end up studying certain things like, some have gone into nursing, sports medicine, environmental sciences, and they come back and say, we chose our career path because of working for us. And that's really cool, and I just wanted to share that because, a lot of times our staff is helping people. We've really kind of developed a part where they're working with the people as they go through the park. And so whether they're with special needs or whether they're people that are just afraid of heights. I know probably some people here today don't want to go up high. But you put on our gear that locks you into that cable, and it just gives you that sense of empowerment that you can really do that. So that's just been really neat seeing the staff just walk away saying this was the best job ever, and to really be proud of what they've done here. And finally, I want to just also say that, you know, when we first came here to open up this park, we thought, you know, it's just going to be like a playground in the trees. We just thought it was going to be as simple as that. And really, it's more than that. We have found that, you know, people can really bring themselves outside of their comfort level. We had a 94-year-old woman that came ziplining. Her whole family came. And it was one of the best things she's ever done. It was on her bucket list. We hear that all the time. People come with bucket lists. And, you know, I have to say I absolutely love the park that we've built. I think we can both say that we are very proud of what we have done. And we just wanted to come here and share that with you, just to share the gift that we feel that we've given to our local community. Because we've also gotten not only people from the local community come in, but we've had people come in from New York City, Boston, a lot of people from Syracuse. It's been a big boom. All the way from Buffalo, Montreal. And they come here to Little Glenville. And you know, it's kind of cool because we've also had people come all the way from England, China, India. We keep saying we need a big map to put in our welcome center to put little pins of where people have come because it's all over the place. And you know, when they get off the park, when they come down to the welcome center at the end of the day, they're hungry and they're thirsty. And the first thing they say to us is, "Where should I go eat?" And I really could use a beer. And of course, we know there's plenty of great local beer in our community. So just wanted to thank you again and just kind of share with you. It's just been a really great 3 years, and we're looking forward to our fourth season. So April 20th we're hoping the snow, we still have about a foot of snow up there, so we're hoping that it melts, and so come on out. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. The next person we have on the list is Jamie McFarland.
Thank you for the opportunity. Jamie McFarland, 1541 Washout Road, Scotia? No, Glenville. It's a running joke that Chris and I have. I'm here tonight just for two quick things. One was to support Michael and Olivia at Mountain Ridge Adventures. I've had a chance to work with them a bit through Oktoberfest and their recent support of Scotia Relief Fundraiser, and they've been great to work with. I know that the approval process was difficult at times, but that has gone by, and now I think it's great that there's a very nice, successful business in Glenville. Who doesn't want to hear good news about Glenville businesses? So I'm glad they were able to come here tonight and share that with you folks. The other thing real quickly is just a bit of congratulations. I come here as a happy taxpayer, perhaps, would be one way to describe it. Last year I was involved a little bit when I worked for the town with a difficult process to get out the tax billing. We had a vendor who was not really performing or communicating. And you know, if you don't get those tax bills out, that is about as bad as it gets. So this past year, I understand, our departments kind of brought that in-house, which doesn't come without a lot of work and maybe just a little bit of risk. Because once you make that decision, you know, you're not using that vendor anymore, and really there's a ton of work involved. So I wanted to just say congratulations and thanks to, in large part, Bill Pertel from the Assessor's Office, who did the real heavy lifting, Jason Cuthbert and the Comptrollers, and also Ed Aragosa in receiving taxes. They worked together great as a team, and they did a terrific job. As I understand it, no mistakes, hardly any mistakes, so that's pretty good for first time. And this puts the town in a much better position going forward. So kudos to them. I think everybody now should feel comfortable that we're in much better shape than we used to be because of the initiative that these folks took to bring that billing process back in-house. So I'm a happy taxpayer in that regard for a number of reasons. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you. I think you're the first happy taxpayer to ever address the board.
And the last, maybe.
And the last. And it is good work. We talked about previous board meetings, and now we're working with the Village of Scotia on helping them implement the same program. So that should benefit the village as well. Thank you for that. Anyone else wish to speak at privilege of the floor? Going once, going twice. Seeing none, the floor is now closed. And supervisors' comments to the board. So we've had a busy night so far, but I'll just update you on a few things. I did have the opportunity to meet with Mayor Gifford, along with Jason, yesterday. I think we had a very good discussion on a couple of different matters. The good news is I think we found, I know we found an agreement on the bridge project. We'll be working with, I had a meeting with Rotary today on that to tell them that it's a green light. We'll be working with the school district, and one side of the bridge will have the school district and the town of Glenville. The other side will have the school district and the Village of Scotia. So the school district is the common thing between the two. And we're working on images now and all that kind of stuff to get the banner made up. So that was, I think, very positive. The mayor was very positive about that. We also both have an affinity for the bike path, and we both have a real desire to get the bike path between Freeman's Ridge Road and Shawnee done. It's particularly important now because the planner and I, Kevin Corcoran, went to DOT, as I reported earlier. They're going to be redecking Freeman's Ridge Road in the next couple of years. And one of the things we fought for was a pedestrian trail over the bridge and down, extended to the mouth of the beginning of the bike path. I got a call yesterday. The DOT has agreed to that, and they've increased the funding to cover that. So that is going to happen. I also asked for the lights on the bridge. That did not make the cut, but I'm continuing to push for it because I think it's important to have the lights on the bridge. But now that we're going to have a connection from and above, right over the bridge from Schenectady to Glenville into that bike path, without having to go under the bridge to cross through the bridge road, it's going to be all that more used, and I think more important for us to get it done. So we're working on sharing employees, equipment, and cost of the aggregate, and we're going to, working with Tom Capola, get a plan together to start hopefully that in the spring. So that's another very positive. And then we had extensive discussion on Fire District 4. There we did not have the same agreement we had on the other areas, but the good news is we continue to talk. The mayor is going back to the trustees with the town's position and the town's offer, and hopefully we'll be able to get agreement there. And once we do, I think that will then open the door for a lot more that we can start working on together once we get that done. Vicki and I had an opportunity to meet with Scotia Glenville football and lacrosse, Little League, or whatever they call them nowadays. I'm not sure what they call it football. Is it still Pop Warner? Anyway, the Little League, Pop Warner. And they are very interested in calling the new Melwick Fields their home. So we're very excited about going to park planning and trying and hopefully welcoming the football and lacrosse program to Melwick. That park is, as you know, a great gem, and I think this field that we just completed is going to be just a great addition to that park. I had an opportunity to visit with the students at Glendale to deliver their voting award. Each year, the League of Women Voters gives out an award to the school that brings the most children to the polls. It's called Take Me to Vote, and every year Glendale wins it. I've been supervisor 10 years, and I've delivered 10 awards to them. So other Scotia Glenville schools, if you're listening, try to engage in voting a little bit more than Glenville. It'd be nice to visit another school once in a while. But congratulations to the people of Glenville. They've earned it. I was the invited speaker last week at Scotia Rotary to discuss the state of the town. I gave them kind of a brief overview of the state of the town from last January. course, included some of the things that have kind of updated since then, the AIM money being taken away from the towns and the villages and what kind of impact that's going to have on our community. We talked about mandates and the tax cap being permanent, and the fact that the tax cap ought not be permanent without real and meaningful mandate relief, because that's what's driving the tax cap. You know, it's like if you're going to treat a patient for an illness, you could just treat the symptoms or you could treat the underlying causes. And right now, the state of New York is deciding to treat the symptoms, but not do anything about the underlying causes of the disease. And that's unfortunate. So we had an opportunity to discuss that at Scotia Rotary. I also had a chance to meet, much like we did tonight, with Cub Scout Troop 20, and they asked me a bunch of questions, and they asked me a lot of questions, and they hammered me, in fact. But it was a good visit, and I really enjoyed it, and I want to thank them for allowing me to be there for that. Also met with the designer and folks from Scotia Glenville First National Bank to discuss the corner of Route 50 in Glenridge. The weather has slowed down National Grid, but they are scheduled to be out there Monday to take their portion down. Now, it's going to look a little goofy for a little bit, because once Grid takes their stuff off the pole, they cut it. Spectrum is still on the pole. We have an agreement with Spectrum, but they're further behind in their work scheduling than National Grid. So the poles are going to sit there looking stumpy. We don't know exactly how long, but I'm going to stay on Spectrum. They have to get their wires down and in the ground. And then once that happens, we'll have a plan to re-landscape with a sign, "Welcome to Glenville," a full-size tree, so we don't have to hear about how small the tree is anymore for Christmas lighting, and a variety of other elements there to kind of accentuate the clock area. So we're very excited about that. Attorney Cuevas and I had an opportunity to meet with the developers of what's known the Dutch Meadows development, and they're moving forward. I think there's some exciting things that we'll be seeing in April. We'll be coming to the board with a new plan. We discussed that new plan with them today. I think we made some suggestions to make it a little bit better, a little bit stronger, but it is going forward, and they've been working hard to really try to find a way to mitigate against some of the impacts potentially that would have happened on the, listening to the GDCC and the planning board, would have happened on some of the wetlands. They're just making it a better project, so we'll be seeing that in April. We do have a business event talking about good news of businesses in the town of Glenville. As you know, the cheese company, the cheese makers got approved. We're going to be doing a Let's Talk Business event April 18th. It will be at Clink, which is in this Business and Technology Park, and we're right now soliciting for sponsors. We have a trade show booth area. If a business wants to feature their business, they can buy a booth space. And then the event is actually free for the community and the business community to come. But that's April 18th at Clink. And one last thing, just to clarify a little bit on the bulk cleanup this year. We did put it on the website and our flyers. We're doing something different this year with bulk pickup. And just to be clear for the residents, because we're going to need the residents to work with us on this, we're going to break the town up into 3 zones, because County Waste says it takes 3 weeks to clean up the town of Glenville. Instead of having trash out for 3 weeks across the entire town, week 1 will be East Glenville, and you can go online or pick up a flyer. There's a map with the zones. Zone 2 will then move to the west, and then Zone 3 will be West Glenville. So we'll start April 19th in Zone 1, move into early May, and then end second week in May. We were telling residents, and they ought to know there's a code. They are not to put out trash in their zone until their week is scheduled. They may be cited if they put out trash early. So we're trying to make sure that, number one, we keep the cost of this down, which means we put it out over 3 weeks as opposed to trying to get it done in 2. Secondly, we're trying to make sure there's not trash across the entire town for 3 weeks, so please respect the zoning system. And then I think going forward in the budget process, we're going to have to talk about potential other tweaks to the program, because it's getting significantly more expensive. I know the recycling program is facing problems because the Chinese are no longer buying our recycling out of this country like they used to, and the cost of all this is driving everything else up. So that's where we are with the bulk pickup program. Any questions or comments? Thank you. Moving back to the agenda, we are on item number 9, which is a resolution appointing a person to the Board of Assessment Review. Do I have a motion?
I'll make the motion.
A second.
I'll second.
Moved in second. Any discussion?
Mr. Supervisor, this resolution would appoint Charles Freeze of 19 Montclair Drive, Linville, New York, to fill a position on the Board of Assessment Review. We're aware we're moving in that direction. The fourth Tuesday night would be grievance day, and the Board of Assessment Review reviews the grievances of residents within the town. This looks like it would be filling a term. It doesn't look like a full 5-year term. It looks like it would be filling a term, so we have a resignation. So that's what this resolution is, Mr. Supervisor.
Thank you. Any questions or comments? Seeing none, please report the vote.
Councilman Pilavani?
Yes.
Councilman Aragosa?
Yes.
Councilman Godlewski?
Yes.
Councilwoman Wozzachowski?
Yes.
Supervisor Ketzel?
Yes, resolution passes. Next, resolution 10, appointing Eric Potts to the position of Executive Secretary. Do I have a motion?
I'll move that.
Oh, moved and seconded?
Yep.
All right, so just to start discussion, this is a promotion of Eric Potts, who was here earlier. He must have left, and we have a vacancy, I think, as the resolution tells you here, in Executive Secretary 1 in the Glendale Police Department. And Eric Potts has been employed as the IPS 1 in that police department since October 30th, 2017. The chief advises the board that Mr. Potts has performed admirably in the current position and recommends Mr. Potts to be promoted into that vacant position. So this resolution would appoint Eric Potts into that position effective March 18th. And at the over 1-year annual salary for such title is $42,418.45. And benefits as determined by the agreement with the CSCA Town Hall Unit. So this is a promotion for Mr. Potts. Any questions or comments? Seeing none, please vote.
Councilman Pilavani?
Yes.
Councilman Aragosa?
Yes.
Councilman Godlewski?
Yes.
Councilwoman Wozzachowski?
Yes.
Supervisor Ketzel?
Yes, resolution passes. Next resolution, approve the monthly department reports for February 2019. Do I have a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Moved in second. Any discussion?
Yes, Mr. Supervisor, these would approve the department reports that we get in our emails for the month of February. This includes the Assessor's Department, Economic Development Planning, Justice, Police Department, Receipts and Taxes, and the Town Clerk's Office.
Any other questions or comments? Seeing none, please report the roll.
Councilman Pilavani?
Yes.
Councilman Aragosa?
Yes.
Councilman Godlewski?
Yes.
Councilwoman Wozzachowski?
Yes.
Supervisor Ketzel?
Yes, resolution passes. Next, resolution 12, approving the town board minutes for February and March respective meetings. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Moved in second. Any discussion?
Mr. Supervisor, this would approve the minutes from this would be the last 2 town board meetings, February 20th and March 6th. Ms. Niels and her staff prepared the minutes. We received them in our email, and I would thank them for Ms. Niels and her staff preparing them.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? Seeing none, please record the vote.
Councilman Pilavani?
Yes.
Councilman Aragosa?
Yes.
Councilman Godlewski?
Yes.
Councilwoman Wozzachowski?
Yes.
Supervisor Ketzel?
Yes, resolution passes. We do have one add-on resolution before we continue business. It's a resolution authorizing us to get into an agreement with a vendor regarding software and database management. Do I have a motion?
I'll move
Do I
it.
have a second?
I'll second.
Moved in second. Just to start discussion, I think as you all recall at the last work session, the building inspector and town attorney presented to us a new software for maintenance records of fire safety and property management inspections for places of public assembly, multiple dwellings, and non-residential occupancies, easy to say. As you all know, we have a requirement to make sure that these inspections are occurring. The building department's current software does not provide a user-friendly option for tracking these inspections. This is a very important function of the department, obviously. And Building Inspector Attorney Cuevas has found a software and database solution known as the Compliance Engine for recording and tracking these inspections. They have been adopted by numerous municipalities across the state and nation, and they recommend that Glenville adopts it as well. And the building department does desire this for the fire safety and property management software and database services at no cost. This contract will be at no cost for the services to the town of Glenville. It would be to a cost of the actual end user person being inspected. So this would authorize me to enter into the agreement, which is currently not attached, but we talked about it and had it last week, and this would allow us to take on the service. Any questions or comments? Seeing none, please report.
Councilman Pilavani?
Yes.
Councilman Aragosa?
Yes.
Councilman Goddard?
Yes.
Councilwoman Wozzachowski?
Yes.
Supervisor Capsley?
Yes, resolution passes. Last item on our agenda is new business. I start on my right with Councilman Pilavani.
I have no new business.
Councilman Aragosa.
I also have no new business.
Councilman Galuski.
Just that I heard from a resident, they think that they expressed to me that they think that dividing the bulk pickup into zones is a really good idea. I'm sure other people will hear that as well. So look forward to seeing that in action.
Did you tell me it was my idea?
I didn't mention it. but nothing other than that.
Thank you. Councilman Wozzachowski.
And
I too have nothing, so with that, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
I'll move that.
A second?
second.
Moved in second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? We're adjourned.